The Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 1 is a Disney Plus original, and in this episode we see Bucky and Sam deal with the events of Endgame and the loss of Steve Rogers in their professional and personal lives. First off, let me say, no WandaVision, no problem. I know when WandaVision ended, people were saying, man, what are we gonna watch now? And Disney was like, here is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was so excited for this series because I love both of these characters. I felt both of them weren't really highlighted enough since I believe the Winter Soldier itself, Captain America the Winter Soldier, ever since that movie happened, there wasn't really a lot of focus on both of these characters, and I'm so happy that both of them are together. They both have amazing chemistry, and now that they finally have a series all to themselves, we can finally flesh out both of these characters. So let's start with the positive. Sebastian Stan is incredible. And this is only episode 1, and he is already knocking it out of the park. Now, one thing I will say, and I already said this, but I feel like ever since Captain America the Winter Soldier, I feel like they kind of nerfed the Winter Soldier himself as a personality and as a fighter. But I'm so glad we finally have this series because we can finally explore, you know, Bucky as a character. And he's completely changed 180. Obviously, when you watch the first Captain America movie, he is like the confident, cool dude. But now, ever since he's been brainwashed and his life was basically taken away from him, he is clearly not the same person. I love that we're finally exploring that right from the get-go. You're already seeing him struggle in episode 1 with the events of Endgame and with Steve no longer being there. He no longer has that person that he can lean on and talk to about his problems because nobody else is really going through a situation like he is. He's seeing a therapist, but it's still not working. He's always on edge. He's always looking over his shoulder because always in his mind he's thinking about those events where he wasn't himself. He was being brainwashed and mind controlled, and it clearly is taking a toll on him. That is such an interesting topic that Marvel is going to tackle because they kind of deal with it with Captain America, but because Captain America is such an interesting character where he can always rise above it, the Winter Soldier is different. He's not like Steve where he always has a positive attitude and tries to look at the bright side of a situation. He looks lost, he looks defeated, and he kind of looks like there's no direction in his life. So he's kind of just wandering on, but I think by the end of the series, Bucky will change again, maybe into something more positive. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what they do with him. Sam, on the other hand, he's kind of dealing with a similar situation, except, you know, it's a little bit different because at the end of Endgame, we all saw what happened. He was given the shield. Cap was like, hey, I want you to take up my mantle. In episode 1, they already addressed that. He is already dealing with the pressure of being the next Captain America. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he ends up making a certain decision, and it is going to alter the series. I'm actually really interested to see where they go in this certain direction, because by the end of episode 1, you can tell that they kind of leave it on a cliffhanger. That's what Marvel loves to do. They do the same thing with WandaVision. They like to end stuff on cliffhangers because that way you can look forward to seeing the next episode. So Sam is dealing with his own troubles at home because, again, he was one of the people that, you know, disappeared during the blip. So when he comes back, his family was still alive, and they had to move on without him. And it's hard for him to accept that his family doesn't need him as much as they used to. And it's hard for him to adjust to that. Now, if we watch the trailer, we know that this show is going to be hilarious. Both of these characters have such amazing chemistry. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, they love being around each other. They love acting with each other. They clearly enjoy being these characters, and they always have the funniest interactions between them. So it's going to be funny. But judging by this first episode, there's also going to be a lot of grief. There's going to be a lot of serious topics that are going to be discussed. I mean, by episode 1, we're already dealing with themes of depression, PTSD, patriotism, sense of belonging. It's so much more, and that was only at the end of the first episode, and they're already addressing so many issues between these two characters. And it's a lot to handle, but knowing Marvel, with the success they had of WandaVision, I think they now have their own formula for having a successful TV series. Another huge positive are the action scenes. I mean, come on, Marvel is always so good with their action scenes. But one thing I do love is that we never really got to see Falcon action scenes in, like, you know, in his perspective. And that's another thing I like, because him and the Winter Soldier are now the main characters. We get to focus more on how they are in hand-to-hand combat, how are they in the field, and we really got to see that in about the first 10 minutes of this series. So great job here. Marvel is always doing the best they can. I believe the budget for this series was $150 million, so I mean, they're definitely going to go all out because they want people to enjoy, and I think they found a new gold mine in having original TV series. Overall, guys, the first episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier was a really great starter, a great establishment, getting both of these characters out there and already dealing with a lot of great issues. I'm going to give this episode an A-. I'm so looking forward to seeing the rest of this series. Again, no WandaVision, no problem. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.